Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is focusing more on our own healing and oneness and shifting away from worrying about other people, but also stepping into humility and oneness, and through that into oneness. I've had a lot of interference and weird energy around me today. And what I was shown is that some more healing is needed regarding arrogance as a way to overcompensate insecurities. And then I also want to tell you about the three weird situations I've had today. One was a girl where the whole conversation was so extremely bizarre that none of what she said matched what I was asking her or what I was saying, and she would give like a really odd response that completely didn't match it. And I've noticed that kind of weird, completely mismatched kind of speaking and those kind of responses from people were actually the first time I really noticed it was from a guy who was giving me treatment, who was removing AI, and he himself was still not very healed himself. So he ended up glitching as well, in a sense. He kind of repeated things almost as if like a little mini disc had skipped back to like a moment ago. And that was just like a small little thing. But I've noticed that with like really dark and unhealed people, that the moment you uncover their darkness, it's like verbal mumble jumble that comes out of their mouths. So that was the first situation. And I was just, and actually her colleague was standing sort of behind her, and she was just sort of signaling me with her head and her eyes and her visual expression to just kind of ignore what she was saying. So she must have been familiar with the oddness of that girl. But it really was like an AI, like a superficial intelligence computer app type thing that was glitching and was spewing out the wrong responses that were not matched to what was going on. So that's the first one. Then I had to deliver somewhere where, like, it was after dark, right? And in that area, there are some people who with like mental health issues, and some people may be doing drugs too, I'm not sure. But this guy was either one or doing the other as well. So, I mean, he either had mental health issues or was doing drugs or both. And he was walking on the sidewalk, and I went behind him because I had actually parked a little too far over. So I had to backtrack 3 houses. And he stopped almost completely in front of the house where I had to deliver. And he's like, "Why do you have to come so close to me?" "Oh, no, wait a minute." He said, "I don't know why you have to come so close to me." And I said, "Well, sometimes people just walk in the same direction, right?" But he was clearly dealing with paranoia, feeling unsafe in whatever way, shape, or form, and felt he needed his space, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be safe. And that also showed me, first of all, What a lot of us have also been like working on over the last little while, the kind of abuse where we didn't really feel safe in our home setting, where in the home that we grew up in. And because of that, easily feeling attacked or not feeling safe. And the attack could be verbal, it could be just not being emotionally safe, you know, that kind of stuff. So that was the second one. But in his case, I would say it was to the degree of paranoia, right? Which can happen, like the more abuse happens, the more common that seems to be. Now, again, I'm not a psychologist or medical doctor, but from all the observations I've had, and I was actually with a soulmate years ago who had schizoaffective disorder, so I learned a lot through that. But yeah, so that was the second one. So abuse that we still need to heal more from abuse that makes us feel attacked when maybe it really isn't what we think the situation is, right? And then the third one was a driver, like with a white SUV, not that it matters, at the gas station, and it was super bizarre. Hold on, let me put this down. So there were 8 pumps, and 4 of them were taken all on the side where the gas tank is. Like everyone was using the same side, basically, right? And there were 4 others that were free. And at that gas station, they want people to enter one way and exit one way, right? But it was half empty. Nobody was around. There was no lineup. It was no big deal. The attendants didn't care. But the man in that car waited and then drove through the middle and around and back to sort of behind me, but a little further over. And I thought he was lining up for the other row that was there. And then I finished up with, you know, the pump and everything and got into my car, and suddenly he was next to me. So I was in the middle part, right? So he was next to me, and a car had pulled up at the pump in front of him, basically. And he was looking at me with like really empty eyes, like he was out of it, looking at me and driving through and stopping in front of me. And at that gas station, you're supposed to exit to the front, right? So he saw me finish up at the pump, get into my car, getting ready to leave. Like I just started the car, and he just kind of looked, but not in a malicious way, but just completely out of it, almost like a zombie in a sense, and pulled in front of me, stopped, and started backing up. And I honked for 2 reasons. One, I didn't want him to back up too much, but I also wanted to signal him, like, why did you pass me? Why did you squeeze through there? If there are like all these pumps around that are empty. In the meantime, the other row was gone. And he needed to block me in a sense, right? Because like normally you wouldn't just block someone like that. But I mean, I just then backed up and drove away in the other direction, right? Like it wasn't a big deal. But I just got this weird sense of something else that took over in him for a while. And I mean, that's how it is, right? It's like the dark force or dark spirits, dark entities, whatever you want to, or however you want to look at it, whatever feels more comfortable for you to kind of see it as. But whatever darkness can just go into people, can go into anyone around us, especially when there are days and situations where we're being tested basically by the universe, right? And it's like, for one, being tested to stand our ground, but at the same time also in staying centered and grounded within ourselves, right? So, yeah, it's very interesting. Oh, there was actually one more situation that I forgot to mention where I was entering a store and I really had to use the washroom and wanted to take the shortcut past the customer service desk with the returns. And normally that's not an issue, but that security person was really taking things a little too seriously and told me that I wasn't allowed to go that way. I had to enter the store first and then from there go to the washroom, which is completely ridiculous. And since I wasn't gonna like argue with her while I really had to go and, you know, rush that way just so I wouldn't listen to her and then have her run after me. And I don't think she would have tackled me, or if she had tried, I would have won, I'm certain. But yeah, I just didn't want to create a big scene. So I just followed her instructions, but I was really annoyed afterwards, right? Because those are the kind of situations where we give our power away when we listen to those who are just power tripping or kind of control freaks, right? So it's all a part of it. So in the end, I ended up speaking to the assistant store manager. The manager had already left, and explained the situation to him. And, you know, he was very understanding and empathetic and said, yeah, that would have bothered him too. And, you know, after that, he went and talked to her. So, yeah, it's interesting that when we're going through this healing, more and more situations will pop up to test us, to, first of all, also show us our growth, because maybe at an earlier stage of healing, I would have just let it slide or said, oh no, forget about it. You know, I'm in a rush. I'm not going to bother like asking for the manager or anything. And those kind of things keep us more in victim mentality, right? Or in victim mode. So it's like, on the one hand, we're being tested to see how much we can stand up for ourselves and stand our ground. And on the other hand, also how calm we can stay in situations and not really be affected by it. I didn't fully pass that lesson, but I didn't do terrible, but, you know, it still bothered me, which means there's still an unhealed part, right? So, yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm sorry I'm kind of rambling on a little bit because I was still kind of, or I am still kind of processing these situations, because they all show what still needs to be healed, and it's a whole bunch of stuff, like it's a variety. But the more we focus on the bad, the more we get stuck in that, right? So when I got home, I saw the last candle was still actually burning, and it just stopped burning after that. And when I looked at it, I just thought of a genie lamp, you know, like one of those Middle Eastern oil lamps from Aladdin and 1001 Night and all those stories, right? And I just kind of pictured a genie. So that's why I felt like, yeah, focusing more on what we wish for ourselves and what we want in our lives, that's really where the focus should be, right? So what all those situations showed is the stuff that's still not fully healed, or some lessons that aren't fully learned yet, and something that, you know, we still got to finish healing from. So I actually put the little pocket mirror here with my little doll here so that we can rest, get some R&R, but also self-reflect a little bit more to help us in the healing process. And let me just come over here. Whoops. One sec. Oh, one moment. Okay, let's put that back. Because I also feel like this reminds me a little bit of church bells, but not fully. It's like a mix between a gong and a church bell, and I feel like we need this today. So, yeah, I'm just going with what feels is needed today. So there are like less fancy props and stuff, but more sort of a background story. So not, yes, thank you. And with the glitchy girl, I'm just going to call her that. What became very obvious was that she was trying to manipulate the conversation when I called her on, you know, responding weird or kind of like that it didn't make any sense. Then she said something. Oh yeah, well I was trying to say this and this, and she hadn't. So like the typical tactic of manipulators, right? Trying to talk their way out of it by trying to gaslight the other person into believing that they said or did something that they actually hadn't, right? To make them believe a different reality from what had actually happened or what was the reality. So, bottom line, manipulations, insecurities to the point of paranoia, arrogance, that came up a little bit with that control freakish security guard, where in my reaction I almost thought like, how dare she, you know, question me of or tell me which way I need to go to use the washroom, right? So there was like a little bit of sort of an arrogant reaction. And then the gas station zombie. And I've noticed too, like with myself, when I had a lot of dark interference, when I was just starting to get back into the shamanism a few years ago, and I actually had an energy healer help me. But when I was going through the worst, I had brain fog, and it's like my brain was not clear. It's like I was kind of like underwater, almost drunk, almost like on drugs, kind of. And I think some people are actually currently going through that kind of stuff. So that and the glitchiness, which I feel is like astral AI or AI influenced or manipulated thought patterns that don't connect the right parts of the brain. Let's put it that way. I'm sure you know what I mean. Okay, so we have negative reaction to technological influence in a sense, paranoia, arrogance, and a zombie type state because of a lot of dark interference. I think that's actually it. Sorry, that wasn't completely clear to me when I started this. Sometimes when a lot of stuff goes on, even after I get home and I try to unwind while I eat before I film, it still kind of doesn't fully give me such a clear image until I start filming. My apologies. Okay, but let's smudge and then properly do the ceremony. Okay, please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and reconnect us with the pure divinity within us and all around us, and transmute any and all energies, entities, beings, and influences that aren't of the pure divine light. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations. Dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. I want to give thanks, so much thanks and gratitude to our spirit guides for all the strong guidance, especially today, despite throwing me off. So some of us may have been thrown off by some of the guidance that also acted as tests, and sometimes there's a lot going on. So thank you for your patience in showing us as much as we need and as often as we need it, and in helping us through it, even if in the moment it seems crazy and chaotic and whatever. But we trust that everything happens and unfolds exactly as it should. Not just in divine timing, but also in according to the divine plan. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations. Please help us very strongly today. Pull out any and all of that darkness that we still carry within us, that still attracts some of these experiences, that attract invasion, paranoia, arrogance, AI glitchiness. Yes, thank you. Also malfunctioning of technology, which I've had enough of around me. So if any of you have the same going on, a lot of times when those darker energies are around us or even in us, technology malfunctions, stuff starts breaking down and so on, right? So I know yesterday I felt quite strongly there was a bunch of stuff going on. It was and then suddenly, sorry, it was I was thinking like it was a little intense, but I thought I had dealt with it well enough that I didn't realize there would be more today. That was my thought that I didn't finish there, sorry. But the visor of my car ended up breaking, and I had to like MacGyver figuring out like a way to temporarily shield the sun, because it was right as the sun was getting lower and was shining like right at me and was pretty much blinding me, right? So and that was luckily a small thing, right? I've had much bigger stuff go wrong. For years I've had to replace my laptop almost every year, my phone almost every year, and I've had countless car repairs, right? So, yeah, I didn't even realize that that was a part of this AI glitchiness, that technology malfunctioning that was due to those dark energies. So give me one moment. I gotta get the reversal crank. Let all this bad luck with technology and hold on, let me see if sorry, I'm trying to get the right way here. Let all the bad luck and all the interference that ends up breaking things or making them malfunction. I've had a car door not open for like a week or two and suddenly it worked again and stuff like that, right? Let all of that be reversed. Let all of that dark interference, let all the dark energies, entities, and beings that took a hold of those items be removed. Oops. And cast into the fire to be transmuted into pure divine love light energies and return to source for reintegration. And let any and all damage be reversed if still possible. And if not, send us the best possible help to fix the problems and or to replace them in the least costly way possible and in the least disruptive way possible, so that all help that we need comes to us with ease, quickly, and we have nothing to worry about. We can simply sit back and trust the divine to bring to us the help that we need. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. And clear our head and crown chakras. Clear our heads, clear our crown chakras and the third eye, and remove any and all dark energies, entities, and interference from that, and cast it into the light to be neutralized and transmuted into pure divine love light energy and returned to source for reintegration. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Oof. And fill us and surround us and reconnect us. Reconnect us fully and completely with the divinity within us, with our own divinity, and through that with all of creation. Help us be in oneness with all of creation, with the divine, with all that there is. And with that, let us have the divine wisdom and understanding of the truth, of the divine and universal truth. And with that, the paranoia of people are out to get us, to harm us, etc., goes away, because we know that we are love, we are light, we're all part of that divine love light energy. Nothing and no one is out to harm us. People are just lashing out because of their disconnectedness, their separation from the divine. They're acting out of hurt. So whatever craziness is going on around us, that is people acting out of hurt, pain, and suffering because they don't understand how loved we all are, how much we all deserve all the best. We deserve to have a life of ease, joy, happiness, prosperity, everything. We deserve everything. There are no limits. It's the dark 3D programming and the false light teachings that have infiltrated every aspect of the way the world has been set up. I'm talking about how societies function, religions, governments, educational systems, everything is, healthcare systems, everything is set up in a way to make us believe in limitations, in lack of abundance, in powerlessness, which is not the truth. It is not our true being. It is not our true state of being. When we're purely in oneness and in this divine love energy that Jesus and Buddha and other ascended masters had reached, anything is possible. That's how miracles happened. And we can all reach that level. We can all perform miracles if we can heal ourselves enough to be in oneness and to have that complete inner peace, love, and harmony. Have it be every part of our being, to be that and nothing else. So please, our spirit guides and the divine, help us heal everything that is still blocking us, that is still limiting us. And help us truly see and feel and know our absolute unlimited divinity. And live from that place, from that state of being. And so it is, all my relations. Okay. So what I was just guided to do is to swing my water bottle like they swing that I don't even know what it's called, that vessel, that container that has the holy smoke coming out in Catholic churches. So that was basically a smudging and a blessing. So the divine was smudging and blessing the space. And please, I hope nobody gets hung up on whatever religious affiliations this may have, because it really doesn't or isn't meant that way. But that was just the image that I was given to understand what I was doing without fully realizing, because a lot of times, like, they want me to suddenly move a certain way and I'm like, oh, okay, right? And it's like I'm being fed the understanding of what is going on. So we are smudged and blessed. So all that darkness is being removed. All that unhealed stuff is being removed. Everything is purified, neutralized, transformed, transmuted, and healed. Wow. And the way that my voice just cracked and I almost couldn't speak the word healed. There will still have to be more ceremonies for this, but for tonight, this is good. And please, everyone, remember that every religion teaches people how to be good. You know, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, etc., right? And how to be in contact with the divine. However, the way that they're organized and set up and the rules enforced and so on, that's where the false light comes in, right? But the pure core meaning of it is beautiful, and there are lots of people in various different religions who have very pure and good intentions and who are completely on the right path, right? So don't get me wrong. I personally don't want to comply with any of those restrictive rules. And I personally feel very strongly, also based on how I was guided, not to follow any doctrine, because that is the old way. And in the new world, we don't want any of those restrictions and limitations anymore. Okay, that still needed to come out. Thank you. And help us live a life full of beauty, where we connect with our soul family, with our soul tribe, and we form communities that are based on cooperation and helping each other, rather than the egoic way that the Western system functions. Where it's interdependence rather than codependence, where everyone is in their own personal power and they come together in beauty and work together, rather than clingy, needy codependency. We are moving into a beautiful new world. And those of us who are the forerunners, we know how it's going to be. It's going to be so amazingly beautiful. And we're basically the pioneers of a completely new age. And I feel deeply honored and want to give thanks. And our spirit guides, I feel they're very excited and happy and full of love towards us, that we're on the path, and they're so proud of us. And they want us to know how loved we are. And that we are getting all the support that we need, even if we have moments when we have doubt. We have to let go of doubt and just trust. They are definitely there for us. But we also have to learn to ask for help. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations. And so it is. Okay. Anyone who would like to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. And for the rest of us, let the ceremony now be finished. Let the circle be opened. And please, our spirit guides and the divine, accept our humble love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings for all the help and support and healing that you have given us. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. And so it is. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this ceremony, and for being a part of this ascending collective. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. Bye.